Fool me once and it's shame on me, but you know you better tread carefully. Fool me twice, I'm your enemy. I'm your enemy. If you push, I push back. Try to hide, but I'll hunt you down like a maniac. Down, you'll go down. So if you hide, I'm gonna hunt you down. Run, you better run. Vendetta, you better. Vendetta, you better. Vendetta, you better. Vendetta. Kindness never looked good on me. Never been one to sit quietly. Too late now to see irony in rivalry. Push, I push back. Try to hide, but I'm gonna hunt you down. Run, you better run. Vendetta, you better. Vendetta, you better. Vendetta, you better. Vendetta, you better run, you better run, you better run. Run, you better run, you better run, you better run. Run, you better run, you better run, you better run. Run, you better run, you better run, you better you better run. Vendetta, you better. Vendetta, you better. Vendetta, you better. Fool me once and it's shame on me, but you know you better tread carefully.
Wake up first thing, always trying to get ahead. No more dreaming, fragments of it in my head. Addiction is compulsory, agreeing just to disagree. Pull ourselves apart into debris. 'Cause algorithms haunt me, air your dirty laundry, hang it all on me. Getting sick of scrolling down, 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 down. don't care if you come in second place. Only show the artificial life you create. Fight to stay relevant, disregard our negligence. It's evident, it's prevalent. We've halted our development, doomed to repeat this cycle. Cause algorithms haunt me. Air your dirty laundry, hang it all on me. Getting sick of scrolling down, 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 down. Exhausted, think I finally lost it. Drew the line and crossed it. Getting sick of scrolling down, 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 down. We're gonna keep falling down, 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 down. The wheel will go on spinning round, 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 round. Never escape scrolling down, 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 down. This cycle keeps on going round, 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 round.
Alright, everything looks good. I forgot to turn on the lights. Okay. There we go. Have to have our background all set. Maybe we'll figure out a way to do it better, but okay, so Michelle Manna has been very active. I don't even know what I all have in here. Most of these are by Michelle Manna and Ablaze, which do not go out and attack anyone, creators or otherwise, mentioned in this stream. This stream is for educational purposes to correct misinformation about DID, which is something that we live with every day. Once the stream goes up, there will be a pinned comment. I think you can do pinned comments on past live streams on YouTube. I think you can. But it has all of our sources, and I just started. I've just started. But I'm here to correct misinformation on DID based on our own experiences and what we've learned from different research. Someone else is up here with me, and I don't know who. Okay, let's just start with... This one's been on this playlist for ages.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I have compiled every piece of content that I've made so far that involves me talking about TikTokers faking disorders for clout, so today you guys can all pop yourself some fresh pop.
Okay, first thing, there are no sources listed. Oh, there's a disclaimer. Why are we subscribed? I don't think we've ever subscribed. My videos are never meant to harass, bully, or humiliate people. They are simply to poke fun at some famous creators or topics. None of my videos are made out of ill intent or malice. All of my videos are satire. Okay.
Popcorn and enjoy this feature-length film, TikTokers Faking Disorders, the movie. And before we play it, I want you guys to leave a like on this video so it does well in the algorithm, and subscribe if you haven't yet already. I greatly appreciate it, and let's get into this.
One, I wanted to talk a little bit about wow. I wanted to talk wow.
This is literally Jacksepticeye if his mom drank while she was pregnant. Yeah, what's going on, guys? Today we're gonna be taking a look at...
So I'm going to be skipping over anything that doesn't have to do with DID.
Because you literally planned the zoom-ins when you use that effect. So it's almost like you knew when you were gonna tick because you're faking it. Go be a soccer mom, dude. Stop posting lay cringe.
Oh, wait, no, wait, you're kidding. He didn't just say, but I think he did he? And Dr. Dre said, nothing, you idiots. Dr. Dre's dead. He's locked in my basement. Feminist women love Eminem. Chicka.
Okay.
But dude, promise, it's my actual, genuine, actual reaction that I would have totally normally if there was no camera on. Which is obviously cap.
Blue would like to make an appearance. I'm literally filming a TikTok. It's fine. Oh, my bad. I didn't know you were filming. Hey guys. Oh. Alright, I'm gonna go. Sorry.
Yeah, man, let's just act like we're completely different people. Like,
I didn't see anything wrong with that video. We've done the same thing at times.
dude, this is not how it works. It's not some multiple personality disorder where you just get to just disassociate and then instantly just snap back to a new...
That's literally how it works. That's literally how it works. Also, it's dissociate, not disassociate.
Human being. This shit is like the biggest self-report of all time. Like, I don't know why you would post that. It's cringe, it's dishonest, and it's just not entertaining. Yeah, I mean, like 20 seconds of that entire clip, I had to speed up to 400% speed because you were just sitting there, like, with your eyes closed. Also, yeah, people...
It's called dissociating. We do that in our streams all of the time. And we've gotten people commenting saying that we pause a lot, which is because of dissociation. It's not something that we choose to do. It's actually very irritating to have to deal with. If you were irritated watching that, imagine dealing with that on a daily basis.
People with actual multiple personality disorder issue, they actually like can't choose when the other personalities like.
Okay, one, it's not multiple personality disorder. It was renamed in 1994 to dissociative identity disorder. It's not a personality disorder. Second, it depends on the communication between alters. Yes, we can communicate with each other. That's how you start processing things and healing. And that's how integration starts, which is not the same as fusion. If there was no communication between alters, then that wouldn't be possible. And it would be just complete amnesia constantly. You could not live like that. Also, it doesn't. Yes, we can't choose when we switch, necessarily. We can ask whoever's in front if we can switch in. That's one option. It doesn't always work. If they say no, then sometimes there is more of a fight for front, or one alter forcing themselves in. But it's not like there's one person who just chooses every time they switch and whatever alter they want to switch with. That's not. It seems like you've misunderstood the disorder significantly.
Like pop up and stuff. So you just like closing your eyes and breathing in doesn't actually change the fact that you know exactly what you're doing.
This is Heidi fronting, and yes, we do all have different handwriting, so I'll go show you now. This is my handwriting, Galaxy's handwriting, Scarlett's handwriting, William's handwriting, Daniel's handwriting, Katarina's handwriting, Lily's about 4, so this is her handwriting, Esme's handwriting, and India's handwriting, and that's it.
Okay, so I got a crazy idea. Call me MatPat the way I'm theorizing here, but maybe you intentionally tried to write each sentence a different way in
Alters can have their own handwriting art styles. Things like that. Let me see. I have to go dig through some emails to try and find this. Where is... Okay, so it's not that. It's in one of these emails that we sent to one of our previous therapists. where is it more recent, maybe? No. Maybe I can find it on Discord. Maybe it is. It's not in there. Where is it? Here it is. Let me just drag this. Let's do that really quick. Okay. So not all of these altars exist anymore. Amy doesn't exist anymore. She fused with an altar we had named Claire. Nia still exists. Vion has since fused and then shattered. This was Corey version 1, I believe. This is Marie, who is the host of one of our subsystems. Corvin has since shattered and then fused. Drew has since gone dormant, fused, and gone dormant again, I think. Void is part of the line with Vion, and Nimbus was a little we had who fused with Void. Mirage still exists, and then Bailey fused with Corey version 2. These are digital, not handwritten, like on paper. But, so yes, altars do have different handwriting.
In order to make it seem like your fake disorder is legit. Like maybe you like literally.
Okay, dissociative identity disorder is not a fake disorder. In a perfect world, DID would never exist. DID is... it's a trauma disorder that develops in childhood due to prolonged severe trauma. Okay, can't focus on that. I can't think about that too much.
Literally went on defont.com and found different fonts for you to try to replicate to make it seem like there are different entities controlling your mind and writing them down for you. So in this one, the challenge is to
Alters... it stands for alternate state of consciousness. We don't take over the mind where you can gain executive control over the body, but it's not like we're some cryptid, and it's not possession. Okay.
Us necklaces. Okay, here we have, let's see, when you get stabbed in headspace, like there's a knife in my stomach, but I'm still fronting, WTF, help me. Dude, you look like Ninja during that one stream where he was accidentally live and didn't get enough sleep. So this is part of the trend where it's like act crazy and maybe people will stop and give you some attention.
Okay, one that's not a trend. Two, yes, alders can hurt each other in headspace, but that one I am side-eyeing a little bit. I don't know, I can't say too much on that one because that's not an experience that I have ever had. This is a creator that when we had TikTok we used to follow, and then we found out that they... what was it? This might be, take it with a grain of salt because I could be misremembering completely, but I thought that they were one of the creators that we unfollowed because we found out that they think that child alters can consent. I could be wrong, I could be misremembering.
States, no questions asked.
That DID headmates do not fully form until the system is in their 30s. And because I'm only 20...
Like what? Like what
Okay.
did I just witness?
This person is in my comments section telling me that they're in training to be a therapist. And because of that, they know that... I'm sorry. They know...
Oh my god, spit it out! Like, what are you hyping up? This is not a...
That's just... I don't like that.
Skrillex hype dubstep UK rave bass drop. Just say what you want to say. Like, I'm actually getting frustrated.
I already said a little bit about this before in this stream. If it's frustrating for you to listen to, how do you think it feels to live with that every day? If we could just spit it out, if we could just talk freely and say what we want to say, don't you think we would? Just a thought.
After watching this, like, I need to watch this video every single time I'm about to lift weights, and it'll just get me so pissed off. Like, why? Like, what even is this? Like, this is the sort of shit that you show Kim Jong-un when he's having a rough day, and then that's it.
Wow. Wow.
Dude, he just nukes the entire United States, no questions asked.
Wow.
That DID headmates do not fully form until the system is in their 30s. And because I'm only 21, I cannot have fully formed headmates. Of all the misconceptions, DID is formed in childhood. It's like a strictly childhood disorder.
What is with this overreaction, bro? Like, what is going on? Like, why are you covering your mouth over and over again like you just got a jump scare from FNAF? I don't...
I don't think that was an overreaction. It was a reaction to a very baffling comment.
understand why you're so characterized and why you're overacting so hard. You don't need to. You don't need to. Just read the comment, tell them why it's wrong, and that's the end of it. Instead, I'm getting all of this other garbage that I don't need to be seeing or hearing.
100% of DID systems are formed before you're 10. Anyways, I just needed somebody else to view this absurdity with me. And if you really are training to be a therapist, please learn to listen to people with the disability that you're talking about.
Bro, you're on TikTok. Nobody's gonna be serious with you on TikTok. Like, I know she's just trying to pull the, oh, it's so unprofessional for a therapist card, but dog, you don't deserve professionalism on TikTok.
If there is someone in the comments saying that they are training to be a therapist and they're trying to armchair diagnose you, or armchair undiagnose you, that's an issue. Full stop. Doesn't matter what platform you're on. People have a right to exist.
Literally nobody does. If you were polite to somebody on TikTok, like overly polite, I'd be concerned, dog. Like, listen, I know manners and stuff, like I'm all for that, but let's try to like use our manners in the right places, not, you know, like TikTok.
I also don't think that they were talking about specifically on TikTok to listen to people. They were talking about if they're actually training to be a therapist, then as a therapist, they need to listen to their clients. I don't think that's a very difficult conclusion to come to.
Genuine question, when you are a dog, do you find other dogs attractive? So I'm going to assume that this TikToker has moments in their life where they identify as a dog. So I guess this comment was saying, yeah dude, when you identify as a dog, are you attracted to other dogs? Now this is actually a totally fair question.
No, it's not. Are you kidding me? Firstly, it's not them identifying as a dog, it's a dog alter, which non-human alters do exist and are real and valid. Animal alters are real and valid and do exist. It's a disorder formed from trauma. And often abuse. Do I need to spell it out if a child is being treated inhumanely? I don't think I need to go into detail.
Because if I'm supposed to live my life believing that you're actually a dog, well, I have to know if that identity comes with attraction to other dogs.
You don't need to know that, first of all. You're not entitled to any information about people that they don't choose to give.
I don't care if this was supposed to be a genuine question. This is full of ignorance. First of all, I am not a dog. We have a non-human alter in our system. He is a child. No, please stop sexualizing our alters.
Dude, your alters, first of all, aren't even real, so...
Says who? Were you there when they were being traumatized to the point that they developed DID?
For you saying, oh, he's a minor. He doesn't exist! He's in your head! And
Just because alters exist in DID, which is a mental disorder, does not mean that we're not real.
he's probably not even in your head because you probably made this up for TikTok clout. Honestly, dude, round of applause. Quick side note, by the way, you appear to have a work uniform on. Wow, what? What? Why are you filming a TikTok at work?
Because things called breaks exist. It's not rocket science.
Why are you talking about your altars that are probably fake at work? What even is this? Like, I would never want to shop at your business ever. Okay, and here we have somebody who's very intentionally about to overreact. Their own pronouns, and each of them is gonna have their own favorite anime. I don't really see the appeal though, like of this. You're gonna give each a pretend.
I'm the protector.
Mean like that doesn't even have any meaning.
Hi, I'm Luke, and I'm the host of the system. I'm Ares. I'm the protector, I guess. Get the fuck out of my face.
So let me get this straight. You're pretending to have multiple different people inside of your body for clout, but not only that, you're gonna give each of them their own pronouns.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I use she, her pronouns. We have alters in the system that don't use she, her pronouns. Because we are all different people. I didn't know that pronouns in general just upset people so much.
Like, the protector of the system. Like, bro, you're not, like, Power Rangers. I definitely...
Okay. Let me make something clear. Before I fused, I was two alters. One, Val, was a sexual protector, and the other, Ash, was a physical protector. Do you want to know what I did when I was Val and when I was Ash? Because both of them were around for a very long time. Val, being a sexual protector, had to deal with non-consensual acts being done to us when we were a child. She protected other alters in the system from the knowledge that that was happening so that they could continue to function. And Ash did the same thing, but physically. So if someone were physically harming us, it's not a fun disorder. It's not some fun role-playing. It's not something that we make up for clout.
Definitely see the appeal though, like in terms of how to get likes. It's like, okay, I'm gonna be 5 different personalities for Cloud, and each of them is gonna have their own pronouns, and each of them is gonna have their own favorite anime. It's all done very intentionally.
We make sure to warn them if we're ever having a partner over, just so that they're not startled if anything happens. We also warn Marianne, who is primarily their caretaker in the headspace. We also make sure that every partner we have knows we're a system. Before anything gets even a little bit hot and heavy, we inform them that there is a possibility that a little might front. We watch their reaction very closely, and if they are not somebody that we trust with our littles, they're not somebody that we trust with our body, period. And again, we're lucky enough that our littles almost never front without somebody else co-conscious, so there's always an adult ready to physically defend our littles.
When will you be happy? Like, at what point do you think, okay, yeah, that's it, we're good, we can stop this now? Like seriously, like at what point? Is it 1 million followers, 2 million, 3 million? Seriously, what is it gonna take? Because honestly, I want to know. Like, it's so ridiculous. I have no idea what you're talking about. Like,
If you have no idea what they're talking about, then why are you talking about it? Educate yourself. Littles are child alters. If child alters are pulled to the front for any reason during something intimate, then you do want to make sure that you are with a partner that you can trust to stop. It's not a wild concept.
you're talking like this is again just another fucking language for clout. The acting sped meta on TikTok has been around for a while now because everybody knows if you act like you were dropped from a 50-story building, you are 100% guaranteed some free TikTok clout.
Okay, ableism. Fantastic. Just
Even if you might actually not be special at all and might be a completely neurotypical individual, well, you know, people feel bad and they're sympathetic and they want to leave a like on your TikTok, so you guys know the drill. We're gonna be looking at this fake disorder cringe, so leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and big thanks to GamerSupps for sponsoring this video. GamerSupps has been a longtime supporter of the
well, if they support someone who fake claims systems, then they will never get our support.
That I created into a character for my haunt.
Not sure what that one is about. Okay, this one is another DIG TikTok, I believe.
Why are you flipping me off? What did I do? I'm not driving past you in a car with no muffler. I didn't do shit to you, dog. I've never interacted with you in my life, and you're giving me the finger, okay?
Firstly, I'm gonna put a disclaimer out there that Marbles is not just a character for my haunt. She is my other personality that I created into a character for my haunt.
Okay. Let's just... I'm skipping over this. We have a VOD explaining why we do not support endogenic systems. You cannot create alters.
On the black and white filter in order to make people think that you're being serious.
Wow, I've never, caught this on video before.
She really said caught on video as if she didn't elaborately set up the camera in order to start recording at a specific time. I think the word caught is used a little bit too charitably there. I think a better caption would be dissociation planned on video.
Oh, yeah, I have one with Lord the...
acts where you're not even supposed to understand what's going on, and that's the entire root of the entertainment value.
Here goes nothing. My name is Ditzy Riddle. I am 24 years old. I have long green hair that's in pigtails, and they have to be fluffy. I am based upon Harley Quinn and the Joker.
I feel like you can kind of predict what sort of content is going to consist of fake disorder cringe just by, like, the type of people that are doing it. If you see somebody who looks like they came out of the Epic Games Fortnite skin design lab, you're probably onto something. Like, I mean, right here is just a prime example of what we're sort of working with. And it definitely follows the theme of attention seeking. I mean, you know, you're posting a TikTok about a fake disorder for clout.
Okay, again, with the DID being a fake disorder, it's not... It's very real, it's not... I don't understand people who act like we choose to have this and are happy having this. It's a trauma disorder that stems from childhood trauma and childhood abuse. I don't know what that is. I would love to be able to read what that says, but the quality is so bad that I can't tell.
He could have predicted these people would start spawning in the late 2010s. Yeah, I think if he knew what was gonna happen in the late 2010s, he may have made some adjustments to his writing.
These make me hate going out more than I already did because of how much they affect my social anxiety.
Yo, Pyrocynical, big fan, my dude.
I fucking hate this. Okay? I would not fake something like this. So please just stop.
I don't know what you're talking about. I guess she's saying that she has a hard time going outside and socializing with—
Hey, can I please just see what the TikTok is about for more than 0.2 seconds?
retarded content on the internet has dropped by 70%. Yeah, it's 13, dude. Sorry, not sorry. My kid will thank me when he understands that he didn't turn out to be a person with neo-pronouns in their Twitter bio. He'll also thank me when he realizes that he's not the one walking down the school hallway with multicolored dyed hair and a dog collar on. Okay, so right now we're watching a person pretend that they have dissociative identity disorder. Basically, it's like a multiple personality disorder, but there's been this trend that started on the TikTokers that fake disorders, where these fakers pretend that they have an identity switch live on camera. Essentially, they act like they're zoning out, and when they stop zoning out, usually after like 10 seconds of staring at the nothing, they look back at the camera and act like they're a completely different person. So I spent it.
So that was probably... Okay, well, just a package notification. Based on that and nothing else, because I've never seen this creator before, that looked like it was more of a planned switch, which can happen if the alters involved in the switch have good communication.
It up about 400%, but you saw there was the person who legitimately just pretends to zone out. And I just can't help but notice that all of these people, okay, well like 90% of these TikTok disorder fakers, they all look like 2015 Five Nights at Freddy's.
I'm not even going to. Oh boy. Here we go, I guess.
Yeah, how about you ADH delete your account? That would be fire.
This is literally what we woke up to. This is the shit that we're talking about here. Like, regardless of whether or not we are factually correct, that's not the point anymore.
Okay, that sounds like you're off to a great start. Even if I'm factually incorrect, that's not the point here, okay? Nah, but the comment she's responding to is basically saying that dissociative identity disorder is required to be diagnosed by a doctor, which is true. It's a very serious...
That's not what the comment said. The comment said that it's a trauma disorder that requires trauma to develop. It said nothing about a doctor. The closest it said to referring to a doctor in any form was using the word diagnosis.
Disorder, and you gotta have a professional be the one to confirm that you actually have it. Now, this comment ended up very much upsetting this woman, so let's see the rest of her response.
It's not. At this point, the point is you people are intentionally interacting with us. Even though we have said, do not interact with us, you actively cause trauma to us.
So wait a sec.
DID does require trauma to develop. It's basically a very extreme form of PTSD. So everyone with DID has CPTSD because it's prolonged, repeated trauma that happens in childhood. It's a very highly complex disorder. And within people who have DID, there are highly complex cases of that.
Second, somebody on a TikTok comment telling you that you need a doctor's diagnosis to actually say that you have dis-
If you're going to comment on something, at least pay attention to what it says, because it says nothing about needing a professional diagnosis. It just doesn't.
Dissociative identity disorder causes you trauma? Really, dude? Yeah, you don't know the first thing about trauma. Instantly, I can tell. If you think a TikTok comment is the same as somebody's drunk dad coming home at 3 a.m. and beating the life out of...
Whoa. Whoa. Let's not. Let's not.
Out of them. I don't know what to say. You're just retarded. It's just that simple. When
So we're using slurs now. Fantastic.
When I think of trauma, I think of somebody with PTSD who fought on the battlefield and watched...
Well, that's another, unfortunately, very common stereotype that has made it difficult for people who are not veterans of war to be taken seriously when they talk about having PTSD or CPTSD.
watched their friends walk over a landmine and saw their friend's entire body explode and their dear friend's body parts start raining from the sky after being blown.
Do you need to go into so much graphic detail about what you think of when you think of PTSD?
Blown up in broad daylight.
We are saying, hey, whether we're incorrect or not, your group has caused us trauma. Anyone from this group, don't interact, please. To the point that one of us was screaming over it.
Yeah, because your group is so bad at coping with the truth that they literally melt down and scream when even a dose of facts is brought to the table. Why would you bring up the fact that your friends were screaming in sadness because they were told that they need a diagnosis from a doctor to claim?
Again, that's not what the comment said. The commentary that he's giving to this video isn't even accurate, which is very telling of the type of people who make videos like this.
That they have dissociative identity disorder. Why do you think that makes you correct? Screaming does not make you right. If anything, it makes you sound even more stupid.
Because we are that thoroughly traumatized by you people. Tell me how this is the right thing. Tell me how you guys are in the right. Explain that to me.
Okay, we're in the right because you should not claim that you have a disorder when you do not have a diagnosis saying that you have a disorder. You are not a doctor. You are not researched in giving proper diagnoses. You are a TikToker with dyed hair trying to justify.
Okay, we're done with that one. I'm done with that one. I'm beyond done with that one. I was done with that one from the beginning. No wonder I put it off for so long. Okay. I don't think I ever finished this one. I don't know if I want to. Oh, it didn't even save where I've left off on it. I'm marking that one as done. I'm not going through that again. I'm not going through that again. This one I want to go through very quickly. We are subscribed to Hannah the Horrible. I just want to go over the section about DID. Oh, why did we dislike this? Did Echo dislike this? I don't think Echo's really close enough to... But tulpomancy is a closed practice.
Not just hallucination. Some people believe video, when you take a certain psychedelic, you go to this world, and some people believe that you actually get to go to a different universe and it's not just hallucinations. Now. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the mental health diagnoses too. This part's going to be pretty brief, but I just want to also touch on this. So there have been studies that have found that neurodiversity has been linked to more likely making a tulpa. So people specifically with ADHD and autism or both are more likely to be enticed by the tulpa community and more likely to feel the need to make a tulpa, because those groups are often associated with higher rates of loneliness. I thought that was really interesting. It's not really speaking on whether they're real or not, but I thought it was interesting that there is a certain type of neurodiversity that makes people more likely to want a tulpa. The other thing we touched on is schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorders. A lot of people think that that's just that making a tulpa is just you have an undiagnosed schizophrenic disorder. And like I said, that's possible for a lot of people. Some people create tulpas and then realize later that they did actually have a schizoaffective disorder, but it's not true for many, many people that create these. And with that, I also want to talk really briefly about DID, dissociative identity disorder. The old term that we don't use anymore is multiple personality disorder. I just want to reiterate, I'm not a psychologist or a professional in this field, so please, again, take everything I say about like these diagnoses with a grain of salt. But the thing about DID is that people end up with DID because of a CPTSD. So a childhood trauma, it's a way of coping with it.
So CPTSD stands for complex post-traumatic stress disorder. The seed's not for childhood, but DID develops in childhood because of severe prolonged trauma.
The childhood trauma and multiple personalities come out as a result of that. And it's a way of coping with that, right? So a lot of people think that having a tulpa is the same as DID, and it's actually not. The main difference, again, my understanding from my research, the main difference is that you voluntarily create a tulpa. Somebody takes a lot of time out of every single day for months to create a tulpa. It's something you consciously want to create, whereas DID is not made consciously. So DID is the result of trauma, but people don't say, oh, I want to have multiple personalities today and create them. It is something that is involuntary. And again, they are similar in the sense that it's just as real to us as any other thing. So just want to be clear there that DID and tulpas are not the same thing. And then I also wanted to share this TikTok that I found, again, as we're talking about what a tulpa is not. And a tulpa is not this, actually. So this is a spooky 4chan story that a TikToker decided to post, and it's an interesting story. It's very creepy, but it's definitely, here's the TikTok.
Let's talk about when OP.
Okay, I think that's all I wanted to touch on. Do not create a tulpa or attempt to. It's a closed practice. I believe in Tibet. I think that's correct. I think that's correct. I think that's correct. That sounds correct. But it is a closed practice. No one should be trying to attempt that unless you are part of that closed practice. Okay, what's next? I guess I could get this one out of the way. We heard about this and it was
The $42 billion toy market is caught in the middle of President Trump's trade war with China, which accounts for 80% of toys sold in the U.S.
Mattel, the maker of Barbies, says it will raise prices where necessary and shift supply chains out of China.
Want to get your child all the dolls they want, but thanks to Trump's tariffs, you can only afford one? Introducing Multiple Personality Barbie. She's just like regular Barbie, but with severe dissociative identity disorder.
The laugh track is so bad. It's so bad. It's not multiple personalities.
Sometimes she's Barbie, spending time in her dream house. Other times Brenda, she's always tired and hanging on by a thread.
This is worse than I thought it would be. I haven't actually seen this before. I've seen Hearts, and that was a while ago. A lot of the comments are calling them out. Why are we getting recommended our own videos? YouTube also likes to recommend videos from accounts that we've hidden from our channel. Amazing platform, YouTube. Thank you so much. This is so bad.
Alicia is a precocious 5-year-old who has dark thoughts about her mother.
Okay, let's not.
Georgia is a Southern belle who's desperate to feel something through a series of anonymous sexual encounters.
Okay. So apparently Barbie, the host in this commercial, is the only normal one. This is so much worse than I expected it to be. Wow. So you're stigmatizing trauma holders, child alters, sexual protectors.
And then there's Ruth. The dog is telling her to do things. Awful things. Don't do them, Ruth. Multiple Personality Barbie. Now you only need one doll.
I only have so much patience. I only have so much patience. This is... Let's not make it out like people with DID are one switch away from becoming violent. Let's not do that. Apologies. We have our window open, it's nice outside. But seasonal allergies do not like it.
Ruth, what did you do to the dream house?
That was one of the worst things that I've ever seen, and I was somewhat co-fronting with Echo during a stream where we reacted to a video by a certain person. So that's saying a lot that this might actually be worse. Okay. I need to deal with this. I'll be back. The jokes write themselves. Even just vaguely mentioning that person makes us so violently ill that we literally had a nosebleed on stream. So yes, that was awful. How long have I been streaming? Only an hour. I can go through a few more. Okay. Should I just scroll and cover my eyes and we're doing this one?
I got triggered out by a blueberry pie. I'm a bunny. I shouldn't have to go to work. Bunnies had to go to work, so now I am a squid. Also, to the person that commented, "Hi, I'm Bunny," shut up.
Hi, I'm Bunny.
This is not a meme. This is how one of TikTok's biggest mental health creators opens a TikTok. Behind that is a creator with almost 1 million followers, built on a claim of living with dissociative identity disorder. True DID is rare and in the early stages of healing, often messy.
Okay, it's a common misconception that DID is rare. It's unfortunately more common than people want to believe, because child abuse and horrible things happening to children is not rare. So now it's not rare. And yes, in the early stages of healing, it can be messy. But when did they say that they were in the early stages of healing?
They don't call it multiple personality disorder anymore because that made it sound like there's a bunch of different people living inside your head. Okay, while we're on the topic of being on our phones too much, let me show you something I actually
No, I'm not dealing with sponsors from this person. No. They won't get ad revenue from us because we have an ad blocker.
Definitions now say DID to stress what is really happening. We have one mind that is split by trauma, fragmented memories, and identity states, not literally multiple people.
No, it was renamed from multiple personality disorder because it's not a personality disorder. We're not personalities. We are our own individuals with our own likes and dislikes. And our own opinions. And our own views on things. How can we have different memories if we aren't individuals?
But in the recent years, yeah, TikTok has turned it into something else.
Guess the player.
A kind of live action improv where alters can appear on cue. Merch drops between episodes and the drama never really stops. The A system is one of the most polished examples yet. Since 2021, almost every upload has.
We used to be big fans of the A system. But apparently, from what we've heard, one of the creators that they like a lot is, I believe their name is Stuff with Bits. Okay, our package was delivered. That's fine. That can sit there until I'm done. It's not going to go anywhere. Right? Yeah. Okay, that's not one that I need to go down and actually get handed. Okay. But Stuff with Bits thinks littles can consent. I am busy. If it's important, they can leave a voicemail. If they call again, I'll answer. What was I saying? Okay. Yes, I know my package was delivered. I got the call. That should hopefully be the last interruption. But Stuff with Bits thinks that littles can consent in certain situations. So we've not... I don't understand why anyone could support someone who thinks that, but that's their own thing to deal with, I guess, and we just won't engage.
Has revolved around their 30-plus identity states. I believe it would be quite immoral to say that someone is faking just because I saw them on the internet. But when a condition built on trauma and unpredictability starts to look like a scripted show, it's kind of hard not to ask, are we watching a rare disorder unfold or a performance that was manufactured for clicks? Let's rewind a little bit and also maybe listen to a few clips from a podcast where a doctor says this doesn't quite line up with DID. Smash this like and subscribe and let's drop in.
So we have dissociative identity disorder, formerly known as multiple personality disorder. And we do not believe like in a core alter, but we have a core 5. It's me, Chris. There is Angel, who's been around since 4 or 5 or 6 years old. Art has been around since the very, very beginning. Alex is one of the originals in the system. And Aurora, who is represented here by our old hedgehog Boomy. The 5 of us have been around since very early childhood, and when people talk about who was the first, we don't know, because we all have memories from that time.
This is a cool introduction. What's this? Every one of them remembers their earliest memories? Now, DID, I understand if TikTok may have made you think otherwise, is not a quirky personality trait.
Correct. Every alter has their own memories. Therefore, they're going to remember their own memories that they hold.
A large part of DID involves, what's this? Trauma-related symptoms. dissociation and memory gaps. It's kind of like if I were locked in the room that I'm in right now, I wouldn't really necessarily know what a conversation happening on the other side of the house. I mean, I might thin walls, but you get what I mean? That's why this next part stands out. A perfectly organized 5-member core, all sharing the same memories, isn't exactly typical.
Okay, let me give an example from my own system. There are some memories that a lot of the frequent fronters in the system share. Not trauma memories, but just basic things. We can share memories with each other if we don't want to fully share the memory with each other. We can just tell another alter about it so that they have a basic understanding of it without actually having the memory. It's like when Echo streamed on our birthday, which that was kind of that entire day and the days leading up to it and the days after was a train wreck. But we're fine. But I know that Echo described a memory that one of our alters, Malachite, who is a sexual protector, holds. Echo doesn't have that memory. Echo has just been told. I don't even think it was from Malachite herself who told Echo. Echo's not anywhere near the front right now, so I can't even ask. I don't remember where I was going with that train of thought.
Of DID. Specialists explain that some overlap of memory can develop during healing. Typically, different alters will remember different pieces of the past because why is it that DID exists in the first place? The way I guess I kind of explain it to myself is your brain when you were a kid, you were like, I actually cannot experience this or I might die. So I need to actually split off into.
That is a very outdated way of thinking. It's not a splitting of the mind. It's everyone starts out with separate ego states. It's the theory of structural dissociation. We've explained this before. I highly suggest looking into it yourself.
To someone else to carry that. So in the same way that we might treat like PTSD and not being like, oh my gosh, look at like whenever I have a PTSD related flashback, there is this bigger issue of TikTok. TikTok's algorithm notices what clips you can't stop watching, and oftentimes these overt camera ready versions rise faster.
It's easier for a lot of people with DID to unmask online. We are very covert outside of online. Online, it's easier to be ourselves. We did grow up on the internet, which may be a part of it. But it's also, it's more in our control. We can choose more how to present ourselves. But day to day, it wouldn't look like what you might see in one of our streams. We are slowly, very slowly, starting to try to learn to unmask more in our offline life. But it's difficult because we were formed as a covert system. Let's check. No. Oh, there are references. Let's see, one is a podcast link, and then the rest are YouTube videos. So one of them is Why Everyone Hates This TikToker. The second is TikTok's Worst Faker is Insane. And the third is the 1 million plus TikTok creator who fakes everything. I wouldn't call those references. But okay.
Meanwhile, the far more common covert presentation with quiet symptoms, years of private therapy, sometimes barely register on the platform, which has resulted in a skewed view of the disorder. And people watching the videos are like, hold on, like I'm watching it. Sometimes in my video, I'll dress gothic, and other videos, I'm not goth at all. I'd be like, hold on. That means I must have DID because my personality changes throughout the day.
Personality is fluid. Alters are more than just a personality. Which is another reason why it was renamed from multiple personality disorder. Because it's not just a change in personality. It's not just Echo suddenly becoming more serious and more careful with wording and more focused. It's Echo not being present right now. I'm not Echo. Echo is not me. We are two different individuals. There are things that Echo has done that I do not agree with and would not do. There are things that I've done that Echo would not agree with and would not do. We are separate individuals.
So we have the loudest, most theatrical presentations of DID dominating the media. Meanwhile, some with covert DID feel invisible. So what do you do when you're...
I would say this may be an unpopular opinion. If you are looking at someone online who has DID, who's being very overt about it online, and you think that's how DID presents all the time, both online and offline, I don't think that is the creator's responsibility to necessarily try and convince people otherwise. I think it should be somewhat common sense that what you see online is not always what you are going to see in real life. That's been something that has been said even decades ago, before DID was talked about so publicly, things not even relating to DID. Online is not always real life. There needs to be some common sense and media literacy. Is it good for creators online who are more overt online compared to real life to express that it's not always going to be as overt all the time? in real life or otherwise? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, it's people need to have media literacy and think for themselves and use some common sense.
You're rapidly switching between different alternative states. Well, you're gonna pull out the TikTok camera, obviously.
Hey everybody, it's Asher. The best alter. And about 5 minutes ago, we started rapid switching, so we're gonna make a switch log. It is 10:56 right now. Hi everybody, it's Art. It's 10:58. I got triggered out by a blueberry pie. We are very trigger sensitive right now.
10:56, Asher's like, alright you guys, we're rapid switching, let's pull out the phone. Which I'm just saying, like, if you're doing this...
We've recorded switches before. And I think even a rapid switch episode once. And it's not for views or for clout. It's honestly very helpful to look back on those things and notice changes and see if we can reflect and figure out how that started in the first place. I know when we had TikTok, we would make videos sometimes and just keep it rolling and just talk about an experience or an emotion or whatever. Nobody but us ever saw those, but it was helpful to do it for ourselves. And switching is very sensationalized in general. It's just another symptom of having DID. It's not this amazing, fantastical thing. It needs to be normalized. So I think for creators who feel comfortable doing it, the more switches are posted online, the more normalized it becomes, because it's not this huge rare thing that no one's ever seen.
It's not necessarily a bad thing because you want to know and communicate with different alters in the system, provided you've talked to your therapist. 2 minutes later, Art appears and he was like, you know what triggered me out? Blueberry pie. And the log keeps going with priceless timestamps.
Hey everybody, it's Chris, and it is 11 a.m. and I got triggered out because I'm supposed to put out a video. I think that's why I got triggered out. I don't know usually why I get triggered out. The others know a lot about their triggers, I don't.
Hey, it's Alex, it's 11:20. I got triggered out because we need to do the litter box, and that's one of my roles. But there's a thunderstorm coming, and I know that's gonna trigger Art out. Art loves thunderstorms.
It's Chris, it's 11:26, and I guess we're cleaning the cat box. It's Asher, it's 11:26. I think Chris is trying to do the litter box, but I'm not sure. Dishes need done, so I'm gonna do those. I know we're supposed to film right now, but we're losing track of what each other's doing. That's not good.
So with DID, is rapid switching like a costume change?
No. Rapid switching is very disorienting. For us, I don't know the last time we had a rapid switch episode. I think it's been a while, but it always gives us massive headaches. It's not pleasant. It's disorienting, it's confusing, it's frustrating. Because you're trying to stay grounded. But you can feel yourself getting pulled back or pushed forward. But if you do have things to do, like the A system did on that day, then you kind of have to just do your best to work through it. Which is another reason why recording is good, because as Michelle did state, which I will give them credit for, it can be helpful to record so that you know what has been done.
Some clinicians describe it as an involuntary handoff between these different identity states. It can be set off through powerful emotional cues or sensory flashbacks to early childhood. During these episodes, people report dizziness, headaches, confusion, muscle tension, short gaps in awareness where one part of the mind takes over and the other shuts down. Even when some alters might share memories, sometimes called co-consciousness, there might be a little period of mental fog. It might not be as simple as, finishing the other alter's sentence. So pulling out a phone, recording smoothly, and narrating every detail might be less common. If you think about it, that would...
So, as someone who did watch the A system in the past a lot, the alters in that TikTok, from what I remember, all had very good communication with each other. Not to mention that even at that time, I think, they were doing social media full time. I don't know if they still are. It sounds like someone is running back and forth across one of the halls upstairs, I think. I don't know. But yes, having good communication can make things a lot easier with things like rapid switching, especially in trying to be functional.
Require internal communication in which you're like, hey, you guys, we're rapid switching right now, maybe due to a trauma response, but pull out the camera, which isn't out of the scope of possibilities. However, it'd be pretty cool if A System could let us in on like what therapies they did to lead them here.
Why is that any of your business? Why is that any of anyone's business? If they don't want to share that, then they don't have to. No one owes you. No one owes you education. No one owes you emotional labor. No one owes you information about their life that they don't choose to share themselves. I do these streams, reacting to these videos for education. That's my own choice. It doesn't mean that I don't sometimes do other streams or other things where I just exist and I don't educate. I don't exist just to be people's personal encyclopedia on DID. I don't exist for anyone. I exist due to trauma, yes, but I exist for myself. And I choose to do things that I want to do. I choose what I want to share, what information I feel comfortable with other people having, no one owes you constant education or constant information on their therapy and their healing. No one owes you that.
Hey everybody, it's Art. I got triggered out because this is happening and I love thunderstorms. Hey, it's Asher. It's 11:29. I don't know what triggered me out, but I'm just gonna do dishes. Awa, awa.
It's Alex, it's 11:30. We're supposed to be doing the cat box, but Asher started dishes. So I'm just gonna do dishes. Also, Art just told me to put music on.
We ain't getting anything done today.
Absolutely, a scent or sound can bring someone back to a traumatic memory. The dessert, however, first of all, is it appropriate to share your triggers?
I mean, it's the system's and the altar's choices to share their triggers if they feel comfortable doing so. That is more power to them. But negative triggers are not the only thing that can pull an altar forward or push them back. There are also positive triggers, like with the dessert. Music, for me, specifically my playlist, is a positive trigger for me. Not necessarily pushing me completely into front, but it will get my attention. And if I'm near front, and if Echo or Michaela are drawing or doing something, and they want to listen to music and I'm nearby, I will often ask them to put on my playlist because I enjoy it. So no, it's not just negative triggers. It's
online, because people are awful online. They can take advantage of that. I'm just curious about the blueberry pie. That's like saying to a group of people who you don't know them, they could be the worst people on earth. I have arachnophobia, and the next time you guys hang out, like, they bring a bunch of spiders because, like, they know.
Again, it's up to their system and their altars if they want to choose to share that. And that is their choice. We don't share many of our triggers or things that upset us or anything like that because it is something we don't want certain people to have. We don't want certain people having certain information about us. But if they feel safe and comfortable and want to do that, then I don't see an issue with that.
Another thing about the pie is, if pie triggers you, wouldn't your household, like people in your house, know this about you, and they might not have pie because you don't really need to be triggered out for something?
Well, as they said in the beginning of that TikTok, or towards the beginning, they were already in a rapid switch cycle. Anything, even the smallest thing, could trigger another switch in that moment, because it's already a very disorienting thing to be going through and dealing with. So there is a lot of dissociation already with that. So even the smallest thing, even if on a normal day it may not even catch the attention of an altar, if you're in a rapid switch cycle like that, which can be very intense and is very disorienting, something that wouldn't trigger an alter out normally could instantly trigger that alter out during a rapid switch cycle.
Something like have cake instead. Also, notice the memory continuity. Each alter seems to know exactly what the last one did.
Asher started the dishes. If someone switches out, they are going to be standing in front of the dishes. If Alex starts cleaning out the cat's litter box and there's a switch, then that next alter is going to be standing near the litter box. It's not that difficult to understand. If something is right in front of you and you're trying to figure out, okay, I just switched in. I know we have to do things. Is there anything around me that can tell me kind of what happened? That happens with normal switching too. If a switch happens, even if it's not a rapid switch cycle, you're going to want to ground yourself first of all, but then also try to figure out what happened, if you need to do anything. It's common sense, I fear. I fear it is just common sense.
That kind of instant clean awareness isn't impossible, but it's rarely described that cleanly in clinical reports. It kind of reminds me of Dissociated whenever they first got diagnosed with DID. They later said, oh, this alter Mike was keeping us from going to therapy. However, we did have an entire journal where the alters seamlessly communicated. Like,
how do you know that it was seamless communication? How do you know? Also, how do you know that those were happening at the same time? I fear a lot of this is reaching. Beyond reaching. Beyond reaching.
Like, is it impossible? No. But can we remember, like, why DID exists in the first place? And maybe not everyone is gonna be super excited to start communicating. Next, A system confront.
No one said that everyone was excited to start communicating. We have alters who we've been trying to establish communication with, who absolutely refuse to have anything to do with it. We've tried establishing communication with one specific alter who isn't able to speak and doesn't seem to do anything except stare. And I'm not going to share much about her at all, because I don't know if she even wants to be known about. So I will keep her anonymous. But she can't speak. She doesn't seem to understand body language or anything. Writing things down doesn't work. She just stares. And we've tried establishing communication with her, and we haven't gotten anywhere with that. So you will see things in our streams of especially our frequent fronters communicating with each other and having that connection. You won't see all of it, especially because we are such a large, highly complex system. So just because some alters have good communication doesn't mean that the entire system will.
Once the viewers head on, they're like, listen, not only am I diagnosed with DID, but also just depression.
Hey everybody, it's Alex from the A System. I just want to make a quick video. We've ended up the subject of a couple of hate pages. People calling us fake and saying they don't believe us and they don't believe we're real. That's not going to stop us. We want to educate the general public on dissociative identity disorder. We want to show that it's not scary and that we're not monsters. We're not what Hollywood makes us out to be.
Everybody, it's Asher, the best alter, at our psychiatrist appointment. Me, Alex, and Art all talked to him. It was nuts. There's our diagnosis. We got the DID and the depression. Shout out, we got the big sad.
Here's the thing. Mental health diagnosis paperwork is usually a multiple page, full...
How do you know it's not multiple pages? First off. Second off, are we allowed to only have DID? Are we not allowed to have depression or anxiety? Like, I'm sorry that we don't fit into your little box that you've made up in your mind. We don't just have one disorder. And for us, I can't speak for anyone else, so I'll just speak for us. Our depression was extremely difficult to deal with when we didn't know what was actually going on. We still have depression, just like we did back then. But it was amplified by not knowing what was going on, and I've spoken about this before, how before we were diagnosed, before 2021, it was very difficult. We were in and out of inpatient units. The first time we went into an inpatient unit was the day of our 8th grade graduation. We went there in our graduation dress. And we went back to a psych ward 6 months later. And it continued like that throughout high school and even past graduating high school. And it was very much the thought of, well, I've been through all these treatments, I've been on all of these medications. It helps for a short amount of time, but then it feels like it isn't helping anymore. There was the thought of us being too broken to ever be fixed or be helped. The thought of never getting better, of always just struggling, of there being no point to even trying. There was a lot of that. So figuring out that we have DID and getting that diagnosis literally saved our life. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that.
Full of clinical detail. Flashing a sheet that says DID and depression doesn't exactly verify much, even with the depression. What kind of depression are we talking about? Have we ever opened like a DSM-5? Are we talking major depressive disorder, seasonal depressive disorder, or some trauma thing tied to PTSD? Instead of addressing those gaps, the video waves off every question as hate.
So no one owes you their diagnosis information. No one owes you that.
That might rally your loyal followers, but it does dodge the very issues a truly educational account might want to clear up. And for an account that kind of is run around my life living with DID, I'm not seeing a whole lot of DID education. None of this is a diagnosis though. Obviously nobody can know what is going on.
So it's educational, in my opinion. And this isn't me being sarcastic, this is genuine. It is educational for someone with DID, for a system, to just make things like vlogs, just talking about their experiences with the disorder. That's still educational. It's still destigmatizing it. It might not be the kind of education with a bunch of sources and research and studies, but it's still educational.
On in their personal life. But when the proof is a cropped acronym and the content rewards spectacle over substance, it's easier to see why so many viewers remain unconvinced. Now, let's take a look at how the diagnosis actually happened, shall we? A therapist with BetterHelp!
Did your therapist from BetterHelp diagnose you? Yes. And I'm gonna clip me telling that story just to get it out there.
So, yes, there are so many issues with BetterHelp, but that does not mean that there aren't good therapists on there. Whether they're more rare than the others is up to speculation. But it doesn't mean that a diagnosis from a therapist from BetterHelp is invalid just because they're from BetterHelp. I don't think that anyone should be using BetterHelp. But I also know that therapy is expensive So finding some alternative like BetterHelp does appeal to a lot of people who otherwise may not be able to get any sort of therapy.
She's a state expert witness on DID, a specialist in DID, who picked up BetterHelp to pick up clients at the beginning of COVID. We picked up BetterHelp at the beginning of COVID and just happened to link.
Now this is where things start getting even more curious. In their own words, they were diagnosed by BetterHelp, a counseling app that can connect you with a provider in just minutes. On paper, BetterHelp is a real teletherapy service, but it's also faced with heavy scrutiny, like sharing user data with third parties like Facebook without explicit user consent, confusing pricing, and questions on how thoroughly it vets its therapists. Landing a DID therapist by chance on this Quick Match app is extraordinarily lucky. The disorder is rare. Some estimate less than 0.5 to 2% of the population actually.
It's actually estimated that around 1 to 3%. So not 0.5. And again, child abuse is not rare. I have a piece of glitter in my eye. I'll deal with that later. I want to get through this.
Actually has it. A true diagnosis often requires multiple sessions, detailed interviews, and specialized testing. Compressing all of this into a single short online match raises obvious.
How do you know it was a single session? You don't know anything about how they got matched to that? You know nothing.
Questions about the depth and the accuracy. Are we looking at a careful clinical process or a diagnosis that's shaped by the speed and spectacle of online therapy? Next, on DID Awareness Day, we got multiple alters coming forward in one sitting to introduce themselves to you.
Hi, my name is Chris, and I have dissociative identity disorder, formerly known as multiple personality disorder. In total, I have 28 alters, and some of them would like to say hi.
Hello, I'm Art. I'm one of the gatekeepers in the system. I'm a female alter. Gatekeeper means I help control the switches.
Hi, my name is Alex, and I'm the primary protector in the system. That means I protect the system when things are going south.
Hi, my name is Asher, and I'm one of the emotional protectors in the system.
Hi, my name is April, and I'm one of the protectors in the system. These are the only alters that want to actually be on video at this time.
Okay, I thought that this was a caption that the A system put in. But it's not. It's a caption that Michelle put in. Which, putting it to make it look like it was in that TikTok originally is very disingenuous. In my opinion, it's very shady. How do you know that it was done in all one take? How do you know that there weren't triggers between alters? How do you know you don't know? But yes, putting the caption on top of that video to make it look like it was in the original video is, in my opinion, slimy. It's not a good thing to do.
If you have any questions for us, please leave them in our comments. Happy DID Awareness Day.
This scene is pretty polished. A system just whips out 4 identity states. I've seen some people do this. We can discuss the ethics of it in the comments. However, a lot of the time it'll be like, oh, this, I wrote down on this piece of paper, can you introduce yourself to the camera? And some alters might do it, some might not, in a long period of time, rather than in like one sitting. Same shirt, same hair, same camera angle. It's less like an unexpected switch and more like a perfectly timed roll call. I mean, the terms they're using, gatekeeper, protector, this is used sometimes in trauma therapy. But these roles usually surface slowly after years of...
Where's the source for that? Where's the source for that? There's no source for that. Because not all alters in a DID system are unaware that they are in a system. Val was very aware that she was part of a DID system. Ages, decades before we got our diagnosis. She knew her role. She didn't like it, but she knew, okay, this is what I have to do. So this is just a lot of incorrect
clinical work. So if we were diagnosed back in 2020, why are we not experiencing confusion or memory gaps during these switches? No, we've got a seamless...
How do you know they aren't? How do you know they aren't? I feel like I've reacted to this video before. This seems familiar. This seems familiar. I may have, I don't know.
A single take introduction. It's not like your heart rate can spike or drop, or same with your blood pressure during a switch, and then you might have disorientation. No, you can just...
There were cuts in between each altar. How do you know that that wasn't happening?
Introduce yourselves because you felt like it. So it's hard because it's like real experiences are valuable no matter how rare overtly presenting DID is. It's not like you should like shut yourself out and never upload on the internet. Now let's talk about how this severe trauma-based disorder is used to dodge wanting to clean up at work.
So we work at a restaurant, and today we were doing what's called janitor work, where basically...
Again, with the caption overlaid on top of the video. It's slimy. It's disingenuous, and I don't like it.
We helped clean up the restaurant before it opened. So what happened was somebody blew up a toilet. Somebody clogged a toilet. Bathroom was wrecked, okay? I walk in there, I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm gonna get someone else to do this. So what I did was I put in headphones and I started playing a different alter, Alex's music, really loud, trigger him out, so he had to do it. Just little stuff like that really is fun to do.
That stuff does happen within DID systems. It is not fun to do. I don't think anyone should be doing it, but it does happen. Not all alters get along. There may also be a pre-established agreement that yes, you can trigger this one altar out on purpose in certain situations. I don't think it's something that anyone should be doing just because they don't want to do something, but I'm pretty sure that it has happened in our system before. It's not just having friends in your head. There are constant fights in our system, which is why Mari exists. She's done streams a while ago, years ago, I think. But she's an internal conflict manager in our system. Her job is to literally break up fights between altars. It's not everyone gets along.
My question, first of all, would the other altar consent to this? You know what I mean? Like, system trust, I believe, is very important when it comes to whether you want final fusion or functional multiplicity. I'd personally be pissed as hell if, like, I don't have DID, but if I were...
I agree. I agree fully with that. Even altars who are friends or on good terms can do things to upset another altar. It's, for example, if you and your best friend had an argument, it may make things rocky. It may cause some tension, but depending on how it's resolved, if it is resolved, it's...
Or like the altar who no one else cleans up, so I'm just gonna have to do it. In DID, a forced switch can happen. Like, I don't know, if you know that you're starting to get super triggered by something and you might want to trigger another altar out if you've talked about it with your therapist. Question for the audience.
I wouldn't even say that you need to talk about it with your therapist. I think that's something that you should talk about with your system. Ask for consent from your system members. If this happens, can I trigger you out? If this happens, can I do something to get your attention and you can step in? I don't think that a therapist necessarily needs to be involved in that decision. It's ultimately what's going to work best for your system and you. If everyone is consenting and in agreement.
Is it as simple as saying, I don't feel like cleaning up, I want this altar to do it? Hopefully they'll just switch in and know what's going on. There are some people who've said, like, my therapist, or in therapy, my therapist might trigger an altar forward. It could help.
No therapist should ever be triggering out an altar without consent from whoever is in front and the altar that they want to trigger out. Nobody should be doing that. That is a huge violation of trust. If our therapist did that, we would drop her immediately. There's no excuse. No excuse. That's
help a specific part share memories and trauma processing, but that's more of a slow and consent-based treatment plan, not so much just kind of throwing the alter under the bus. And that's why this video feels so off. In real life, some people with DID describe switches as subtle and private, and moments they're trying to manage quietly. It's also interesting, just question for the crowd, because I've heard some people with DID say like, it's not like I know like, hey, I just switched in. It could be like you're doing something and then you kind of realize like, oh damn, I don't remember this and that. Immediate awareness with co-consciousness is possible to say.
It depends on which alters are switching, the environment. It depends on a lot of things. Switches can look different day to day, alter to alter, even a switch between two of the same alters can look different if the environment is different or the situation is different. I don't remember what. Amnesia. Okay. Ironic. Yes, it happens a lot where there's amnesia around the fact that we have amnesia. It does happen. So no, we don't always know. But part of healing, at least for us, is paying more attention to things and trying to be more mindful to notice those things. And it takes a lot of work and a lot of practice and a lot of time, but it's very beneficial.
Like, I am this alter now, although like, when we just started therapy, do you know what I mean? It's like, when I was young, I learned to speak English. That is my entire life I've spoke English. And then imagine someone saying, hey, so we're gonna work through that because you're actually supposed to be speaking French. And I don't know what it's like to speak only French. So to me, at first, it's not gonna be like, oh, I'm just fluent in French. You have to learn. And the same sometimes goes for internal communication with different alters. It's not like you're just gonna magically have this beautiful friendship with all of them. Some alters might not want to come forward or be known because they believe what's keeping them safe is hiding this trauma from the rest of the system. So if your goal is to educate, stunts like this risk doing the opposite, because you know there's gonna be a teenager scrolling on TikTok and they're like, damn, I wish someone would clean my room for me or go to work for me. But
that I do agree with. But at the same time, it's not a creator's job to I don't know how I would word this. Creators can't be responsible for every person's line of thinking. And I can't finish that thought. I think I need to end stream. I wanted to finish this video, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. Someone's really close right now, and it might be Lily, but I can't tell. Lily in our main system does have a playlist. It's on our page. I know he's been adding it to it a bit. And I know that he wants to add more to it. Lily in our main system uses he, him pronouns. He said. Yeah, I need to end stream. We need to end stream. Thank you everyone for watching. Hydrate. Take care of yourself. Self-care. Just step back for a second. Yeah, I can't finish this video today. I need to just end stream. I can't even say, I can't do an outro.